Welcome back. I'm going to be reading to you Chapter 7, Pizza, Bagels, and Barricades. And I apologize if it gets loud because the cats decide it's time to play. In Midtown Manhattan, on the corner of 5th Avenue and 34th Street, was a famous bistro called Cheesy Street. The cafe was a tourist hotspot and sold all the food New York City was famous for. Visitors and locals alike journeyed to Cheesy Street for the renowned pizza, bagels, cheesecake, pastrami, and clam chowder. The staff had seen their fair share of eccentric customers over the years, but nothing like the party of 12 who joined them for lunch today. Mindy, Cindy, Lindy, and Wendy, known in their community as the Book Huggers, shared a plate of Cheesy Street's signature pizza bagels. The girls stared down at the cheesy hybrid on their plates in total silence, with blank expressions. Sitting across from them were all 4 pairs of the Book Huggers' parents. They eyed their daughters with great caution and concern as if the girls were explosives with faulty wiring. "I'm so glad we decided to go on this trip," Mindy's mom said. "It was very last minute, but sometimes a spontaneous trip is exactly what you need to clear your head, isn't it?" The Book Huggers didn't respond or look up from their plates. "I think we picked the perfect place to visit," Cindy's dad said. "Isn't New York an amazing city? There are so many things to do and see here. What's been your favorite attraction so far?" Once again, the Book Huggers didn't say a word or move a muscle. "I loved Central Park," Lindy's mom said, "and I also liked the Empire State Building, visiting Ellis Island, our tour of the United Nations, and of course, last night's performance of The Phantom of the Opera." "I imagine everyone leaves New York feeling influenced or inspired in some way," Wendy's dad said. "It really makes you think of how many different people there are in this world. It reminds you of how many different interests there are to devote your time and energy to. It sure makes Willow Crest and everyone who lived there seem rather dull. Wouldn't you agree?" The Book Huggers nodded in perfect unison without looking up. It was rather creepy, but their parents were thankful for any response they could get. "Let's address the elephant in the room, and I'm not talking about Cheesy Street's mascot," Mindy's other mom said. "We know that last week had been pretty challenging for you. Recovering from a psychotic breakdown requires profound strength. Hallucination and obsession are very difficult things to recognize and admit to, but we couldn't be prouder of you girls for taking the proper steps to treat yourselves. Dr. Jackson was very confident that all you needed was a little time, a little love, and some pleasant distractions, and you'd be as good as new. Hopefully the spontaneous trip will be just what the doctor ordered." Finally, the Book Huggers looked up from their plates and smiled at their parents. The trip itself wasn't enough to take the Bailey twins off their minds, but the compassion coming from their parents warmed their hearts. "Thank you," Mindy said, "and even though we've been quiet all week, we really appreciate you taking us on this trip." "Yeah, this week has been awesome," Cindy said. "It was really nice of you guys to take all the time off from work and treat us with this. Whatever we may be going through, we're lucky to have parents like you to go through it with," Lindy added. Wendy pointed to her heart and then pointed to their parents, implying that their compassion was fully reciprocated. The Book Huggers' parents were so relieved to finally hear their children speak, tears came to their eyes. "Fantastic," Cindy's mom said. "I'm so glad we're all on the same page. Now let's make the most of our last day in the city. I say we take a helicopter tour after lunch, but first let's order some dessert." The party of 12 happily looked over the dessert menu. Their concentration was momentarily interrupted by a procession of 4 police cars speeding down the street with their sirens blaring. "Wow, whatever is happening at the library must be serious," Lindy's dad said. "We've seen dozens of police cars headed that way, and I've heard they've evacuated all the buildings in a 2-block radius." "When we were shopping on 5th Avenue earlier, we asked an officer what was going on," Wendy's mom said. "They told us it was a big gas leak, nothing they couldn't handle. The evacuation is just a precaution." The Book Huggers looked out the window behind their parents to watch the police cars racing down 5th Avenue, but their hearts stopped at another alarming sight on 34th Street. Through the front window of a taxi van waiting for the cops to pass, they saw a very familiar freckled face. "Connor?" the Book Huggers collectively gasped. Their parents quickly snapped their heads back toward their daughters and stared at them as if they were explosives whose fuses had now been lit. "What did you girls say?" Mindy's mom asked. "Cobbler?" Cindy's dad suggested. "I think they said they wanted the cobbler. Isn't that right?" "No, Dad," Cindy said. "Look behind you. It wasn't a hallucination this time. Connor Bailey's in a taxi outside Cheesy Street." The book hugger's parents quickly turned to the window, but thanks to some unknown forces in the universe that constantly made them the punchline of some big cosmic joke, Connor bent down a second before they would have seen him. The only person the book hugger's parents saw inside the taxi was its Middle Eastern driver. The taxi had continued down the street before Connor resurfaced. "No!" Mindy screamed. "He was right there! Right there!" "I saw him too! I swear it!" Lindy protested. Connor Bailey was just outside the window. "But why would he be here?" Cindy asked. "Of all the restaurants in New York City, why would he be outside ours?" "There's only one explanation," Mindy announced. "We've been right this whole time. Something otherworldly is going on with the Bailey twins. It started in school, it spread to the hospital, now it's in New York City." Wendy made two fists and slammed them on the table as if to say, "There is a vast conspiracy against us and we must get to the bottom of it." The book huggers burst into tears. Their parents exchanged exasperated looks and sighed. Apparently, New York City wasn't the pleasant distraction they hoped it would be. Even though everyone in Cheesy Street already was looking at their table, Lindy's mom raised a hand to get the waiter's attention. "Check, please," she said. I'll see you guys on the second half of the chapter.